You say there's no snow. You say we're not going to have any more snow days, but you can always make your own snow day. Here are some ideas. Idea number 1, all you need are your watercolor paints, a crayon, or an oil pastel. First, I'm going to use a Sharpie just to show you on camera different ways you could draw some simple snowflakes. If you start with a vertical line, add a horizontal line and 2 diagonal lines, and then different types of lines around, you can create your own unique snowflake. There is no going wrong, as no 2 snowflakes are alike. Your snowflakes can be different than mine, and they can look like whatever you want them to. Continue to experiment with different types of lines and shapes and dots to create your snowflakes. When you have some snowflake making practice under your belt, you can either use pencil first to place your snowflakes all over your paper, or you certainly can draw right in oil pastel or crayon if you choose to. If you started in pencil, when you're ready, just grab your oil pastel or your crayon and go over your pencil line. Your pencil might show through a little bit, but once you put it in the background, it won't be so noticeable. Again, you can draw right in crayon or oil pastel. Press hard on your crayon, oops, even if you break it. And continue to go over all of your snowflakes. Add more snowflakes in the background with your oil pastel or your crayon. When you have finished with your oil pastel or crayon, you're going to do a wet wash. So wet your paper first with clean water, and then make sure your paint is loose and juicy and float your paint over the top. Only go back and forth over it once or twice. If you go over it and your paint is too thick, your snowflakes will not show. Again, you want to wet your paper first. Float your color across your paper horizontally because the sky moves horizontally. And there you have it. One way to make your own snow day. Here's idea number 2 for making your own snow day. Take your thin copy paper. Fold the bottom corner of your rectangular shaped paper up to the side. Hold them even with one hand to make sure the side is even. And then you're going to push backwards into the fold and flatten it out. We need to turn our rectangle into a square. So once you have that, you're going to cut off that extra piece on the side. Place your paper so that you see a triangle with a point at the top, and then you're going to fold one side over the other to fold it in half. Again, line up your sides carefully, press your fold out. Now you have a medium triangle, and you're going to do that one more time so that you have a small triangle. So you turned your rectangle into a square and then turned your square into a triangle. Look for the side that has all the edges, so the side that has all the edges is going to be the outside of your snowflake. Make a little mark so you remember the outside of your snowflake is the only part that you can cut off. Next, you want to draw out where your snowflake is going to go. I'm using a Sharpie again for you to see. I would use a pencil very lightly. So along the edge I know I can cut off, I'm going to draw one continuous line. Across from that at the bottom, I'm going to draw a triangle. And then I'm going to draw shapes that end at the edge that can then be cut out. Be sure to leave a space in between each of your shapes. Your shapes cannot touch. If they do, your snowflake will fall apart. You want to begin your cutting on the outside edge of your snowflake. Because you folded it so much, you're actually cutting through 8 pieces of paper. So take your time. Make sure that the paper is going all the way inside the scissor and that you're turning your paper and your scissors at the same time as you cut. To cut your shapes, you want to put your scissor in one way, take it back out, and then put it on the other side. If you cut slightly past your shape, the piece will fall out on its own. Again, it's difficult to cut through this much paper, so take your time and be patient. When you're finished cutting your snowflake, open it up carefully so that you don't rip it. And as you open it, you'll notice it's symmetrical. It has 2 sides that are the same, with one side being the mirror of the other. You'll also notice you have negative shapes or openings in your snowflake. Snowflakes are a great way to see that art vocabulary in action. Once you've mastered making a snowflake, here's a more advanced style of snowflake that you could try. Again, you're starting with your paper or rectangle, pulling that corner up to the side, making sure the 2 sides are even and pushing back into the fold. Cut off your extra piece of paper along the edge. Next, with your paper in the triangle position, this time you're going to bring one edge up to the top. So instead of folding it in half, one corner goes to the top. And again, press back into the fold. Bring the other corner up also to the top. Make sure they're as even as you can make them. And again, press back into the fold. Take your time. Next, you're going to fold it backwards. So you're going to fold it backwards. You have that diamond shape. You're going to fold that diamond shape backwards in half. So now you have your triangle shape this way. Look for the side with all the edges showing. Again, that's going to be your outside. Some sides have folded paper, but there's only one side with all of the edges of the paper showing. Mark that side so you know which side is the only side that you can cut off completely. And then this time I'm going to draw more complex or complicated shapes. So along that outside edge, I'm going to draw more shapes to cut. On the bottom, I'm going to make a thinner triangle shape. And then along the sides, I can draw half of something and it will show that object when I open it up. So I'm trying half a tree, half a heart, half a snowman. So draw shapes along the side. Again, remember you need spaces in between your shapes. You can also cut smaller shapes into the sides of your snowflake, and then when you open it up, you will have a much more complicated snowflake. Get creative, experiment, figure out your own ways of folding and cutting, see what you can come up with. Remember, every snowflake is unique, just like you. You can take that little strip of paper and you can make lots of different snowflakes just the same way. And there you have it, a few fun ways to make your own snow day.